Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be featuring a very strong, very consistent team that you could use in the Fantasy Cup in Ultra League. Right before the cup dropped, I was researching on PvPoke what team I could build that would still be balanced with the Pokemon that I have, because I don't have a lot of Stardust to build new Pokemon, and my Pokemon for this cup are pretty limited. So I found that I could use Tapu Fini, Registeel, and Excadrill, and that would make a very, very balanced team. Now, Excadrill is super strong in this cup. It has positive matchups against most of the fairy types, and it has really positive matchups against some of the steel types as well. And if you have an energy lead, it can also have a good matchup versus the steel types that beat it, like Escavalier and Lucario. I'm also running Registeel with Zap Cannon and Flash Cannon because there was no way I was gonna TM Zap Cannon off of my Registeel. I have one Registeel for Ultra League and I'm not taking a legacy move off of it. The recommended moveset for Registeel in this cup is Flash Cannon and Focus Blast. However, like I said, I'm gonna work with what I have and I'm gonna make it work. And then I have Tapu Fini in the front, which is going to take care of any of the Pokemon that might have access to fighting type moves like Escavalier and Lucario, and also the Pokemon that have access to fire type moves like Burn Drive, Genesect, and maybe Solgaleo. Tapu can also provide cover for opposing Excadrills and Flygons because my backline's pretty weak to both of those. The safe swap is Registeel and the closer is Excadrill, and usually you want to save your shields for Excadrill because in the back it can be very devastating. But yeah, that's enough rambling from me. I literally waited until 12 AM my time, which is when the cup drops, to film these battles, and I really hope it helps someone out. Leave a like below. I stayed up all night working on this video. Anyways, let's get into the battles. First up, we have Tapu Fini against Steelix. Amazing lead for us. Immediately my opponent swaps into Grambles, so I'm thinking maybe it's a double fairy backline, so what I have in the back is looking pretty good, Excadrill, because Excadrill is decent against Steelix, and it's decent against another fairy type, if that is what my opponent has. So, I've shielded the first close combat, but then I didn't shield the second one, and I actually survived, and I got to a second Flash Cannon, and I ended up taking both my opponent's shields. Now Excadrill is gonna go completely crazy. I brought Excadrill back in because Excadrill resists Charm, and I thought it could get to the drill run faster than Tapu could get to a move. Charm is gonna chunk my Tapu, so I decided Excadrill would be the better swap in here, and I'm expecting his entire team to be weak to it. So my opponent brings back in Steelix, and I'm thinking in case he has the crunch, I could try to catch on 5 Dragon Tails on Tapu, because anyways, he has 0 shields and I have 1 shield left, and whatever fairy type is in the back, Tapu can handle pretty well. So we catch on 5, but it turns out it's a Psychic Fangs, and I was expecting that he might have Earthquake because I think that is recommended for this cup, and he has Weezing in the back. Tapu has a decent matchup against Weezing, so my opponent quits here because he doesn't have any shields left, and we take that win. GG's to my opponent. Moving on to the next battle, we have another amazing lead, Tapu into Dragonite. So my opponent swaps into Melmetal, and I have kind of a tough decision to make here because I don't have Focus Blast on Registeel, unfortunately. So I bring in Excadrill, and I get baited with that first Rock Slide. I thought he might throw Superpower, he might go for it immediately, but they almost always bait. Luckily, he doesn't shield the Drill Run for some reason, and it takes him out. So now my Excadrill is up against Dragonite, and I'm gonna see if he shields here, and he doesn't shield the Rock Slide. Look how spammy Excadrill is. Now I'm thinking I'm just gonna shield it because I was having too much fun with Excadrill, and he has something weak to Excadrill in the back. Look at that. Another full team weak to Excadrill. Shadow, Alolan, Sandslash in the back, and I'm glad I shielded because now I can take both his shields because, like I said, it's super spammy. And now my Tapu Fini is going to have a decent matchup versus his Sandslash, and it's pretty much a GG for us. Like I said, Registeel doesn't have Focused Blast, so Registeel isn't going to have a decent matchup versus Alolan Sandslash, unfortunately. Zap Cannon can still hit for neutral, maybe get a debuff, but yeah, we take that win. Another good RPS in our favor. On to the next battle, we have a Lucario lead, another good lead for us. Look at that. How lucky are we getting today? But it's gonna be a little bit tough here because he could bait or he couldn't bait. If he hits me with Shadow Ball, it's going to be doing a ton of damage to me, unfortunately. So I'm going to call the bait here, but unfortunately we get hit with the Shadow Ball. Now I'm thinking I can reach the Surf before he reaches another one, but luckily I don't tap that Surf. However, I make another really big mistake here, and I go for the Moonblast on the Giratina. I should have saved that energy on Tapu Fini because, like I said, my backline is really weak to Lucario. And right now, my Tapu Fini is energy dry, and I'm going to have to deal with the Lucario with either the Registeel or the Excadrill. Lucky for us, this Giratina seems to be running Dragon Claw and Ancient Power, I think. I'm surprised he's going for Ancient Power and not Dragon Claw on my Registeel. I guess maybe he's looking for a boost, but I'm going to stay in this matchup pretty long. I threw a Flash Cannon, but I didn't load it up all the way because I wanted some energy for Lucario because, like I said, I messed up and I threw all that energy I had stored on Tapu Fini onto this Giratina that doesn't even have anything for my Registeel. Now he brings in Lucario, he power up punches, but I don't shield that. I go for a Zap Cannon, I take his last shield, and now I can safely bring in Excadrill. And I throw that Drill Run immediately, but he catches it on a Steelix, which is okay. Usually you're supposed to wait a turn so that they don't catch, but I was worried that the Lucario was gonna throw a move. I have 2 shields anyways, I shouldn't be worried, but I went for the Drill Run right straight away. And I loaded up to 2 Drill Runs here against the Steelix so that I could have one saved up for Lucario, and we easily take that win. Okay, moving on to the next battle, we have Tapu Fini into Perrserker. Another really good lead. If he's running Foul Play in close combat, this is really good for us. So I go immediately for that Surf. I don't know why he's staying in. Maybe he doesn't have a better answer to Tapu Fini in the back, but he is going to stay in, and I'm wondering if he throws something other than Foul Play or close combat, but I guess he's just gonna go straight Foul Play and shield his Perrserker for some reason. Now I can go for that second Surf, and let's see if he decides to invest his last shield. If he does, my backline's looking really good, and he does. Look at that. I'm not gonna shield because my Tapu Fini is pretty low, and I know I can reach move on my Excadrill. Again, I should watch for the catch. I think he does manage to catch here successfully. He does on the Giratina, but I'm okay with this. I'm gonna load up to another Drill Run and leave with energy on my Excadrill before I go into Registeel. Now I bring in Reggie, which has a really good matchup versus Giratina because we have that Flash Cannon, but he loaded up to a Shadow Force, and he ends up having Shadow Force on his Giratina, which makes sense in this cup because it's filled with so many fairies. So, and it might also be decent for Registeel. So yeah, that's something you could test out if you're bored. Anyways, we reached that second Flash Cannon right before he throws Shadow Force. I didn't want him to throw another one at me. And he has Escav in the back. Luckily, he's 2 shields down and I have 2 shields. So I can easily shield this Drill Run. We CMP tied on the Zap Cannon, and the Zap Cannon is going to put him in range of a Drill Run from my Excadrill. He brings Perrserker back in, and I'm okay with this because Perrserker was almost out of Foul Play and I was able to throw that Drill Run before he reached it. Anyways, it's not gonna matter. I have a shield left, and this Drill Run is easily gonna take out his Escav. And we take that win. GG's to my opponent. Another kind of sort of RPS, the Escavalier could have been trouble for my team, but luckily since I was 2 shields up, Excadrill was able to sweep that backline with shields down. Moving on to the next match, we have Tapu Fini versus Escav. Okay, so I want to try to keep the Tapu Fini on the Escav. I'm going to switch immediately into Registeel versus Giratina. Like I said, we have Flash Cannon, so it has a better matchup versus Giratina than when it would normally have a matchup in Open Ultra League. But again, another Giratina that doesn't have Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak. So this Giratina is going to be throwing resisted moves at my Registeel, and we're just going to be able to throw these Flash Cannons. It's going to take 3 to take out Giratina, unfortunately. And I would like to leave this matchup with some energy. I'm going to reach another Flash Cannon, I'm going to throw it, and I'm going to try to underfarm, but it turns out that you'll see. It'll be enough to take him out. I'm getting pretty low. I'm letting myself get pretty low because I also don't want the Escav to farm me down, because Escav with energy can be a little bit tricky for Tapu Fini. So I undercharge the Flash Cannon. Unfortunately, it takes him out and I can't farm him down. Now I have no energy for this Escav, and this Escav is going to farm me down completely and have a ton of energy to throw at Tapu Fini. He's gonna throw an Acid Spray here, of course, because the recommended moveset in this cup is Acid Spray and Drill Run, and he's gonna bring in his own Tapu Fini, which is really bad for me. I'm going to bait with a Surf to hopefully get a shield. That way maybe Excadrill has a chance. I know I can easily reach 2 Drill Runs if I shield once. However, I'm thinking if maybe I should save both shields for my Tapu Fini, which is still pretty healthy in the back, because here his Tapu Fini is in the red, and I'm thinking I might be able to farm him down completely. I need my Tapu Fini to be healthy though, so even if this is a Surf, I'm going to shield it, and he's going to throw another move which is also Surf. It wasn't enough for a Moonblast, so I can easily no shield this and save the last shield for an Acid Spray. Now I throw the first Surf, he has a shield left, this is going to get his last shield, and then I can reach the next Surf. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to take him out, and he's going to reach that Acid Spray. The Acid Spray is going to debuff me, and his counters are going to start doing a ton of damage. So this game is really, really close. I managed to take him out. Unfortunately, his Tapu Fini is a little bit healthier than mine, and he takes that win. Well played to my opponent. Those debuffs were rough. We got 4 wins in that set, which is really good. I do have 2 more bonus matches that I'm going to show after this set because I played a couple more games in the next set. I really enjoyed this team. So yeah, let's move on to the next battle. We have Weezing on the lead, which is okay, but I know that Weezing's moveset in this cup is Play Rough and Overheat, so he has a move that's neutral to Tapu Fini, unlike in Open Ultra where he has the Dark type move Brutal Swing and Overheat, which are both resisted by Tapu. He's able to take out half my health with Play Rough, and he brings in Slurpuff, which is interesting because now I'm thinking that he has Triple Fairy, which means my backline is really strong. I stayed in with the Tapu Fini because I wanted him to throw all his energy on Slurpuff because I don't want to take a flamethrower from Slurpuff onto my Excadrill. And luckily I'm able to reach the Drill Run right before he reaches his flamethrower. I think I actually CMP tied with him, because I know that Excadrill can win CMP versus Slurpuff. And since he's bringing back in Galarian Weezing against my Excadrill, that means his backline is really weak to Excadrill again. And of course, he had the third fairy. I was expecting Triple Fairy, but I really like my opponent's team. I was going to run Triple Fairy too, but I was going to run it with Tapu, Slurpuff, and Galarian Weezing. I might still run that team. I think it could be really fun. We already reached Legend. There's no point trying anymore. Might as well try a fun team. But yeah, unfortunate for my opponent. I have 2 Steel types and I have the ultimate Steel type, Registeel, which is going to resist absolutely everything the Clefable is going to throw against us. So GG to my opponent, but that was RPS completely in our favor. Moving on to the next match, we have Tapu Fini into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. So of course I'm going to stay in. Like I said, my Registeel doesn't have anything for this. It has a neutral move. And I'm expecting that my backline can handle his backline pretty well, because what is Sandslash weak to? It's weak to fighting moves. So it's going to have something in the back that can handle fighters, something in the back that can handle counter users, and something in the back that can handle also fire move users. So I'm thinking definitely a Giratina. Giratina makes sense with this, and definitely a fairy type. Maybe a Tapu Fini. I might be wrong. I'm watching this match again. I don't actually remember, but I think I was thinking he might have Tapu Fini in the back. If he does, that's bad for me. But here I mess up and I don't shield his Drill Run. I should have shielded his Drill Run because now he's going to bring Giratina in against my Registeel. So it's possible that he has a fairy type in the back for sure, because he didn't bring in the fairy type. He brought in the Giratina, and this Giratina has Shadow Sneak. So this is going to be a little bit rough for me because I did not shield that Drill Run. I really should have shielded that Drill Run. But I'm going to throw this second flash cannon, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch into my Excadrill because he is going to be in drill run range after this flash cannon. So I swap immediately into Excadrill. I know I can outpace to the drill run. I throw it immediately, and let's see if he decides to shield, and he shields. That means he has something in the back that's really weak to this. So what could be really weak to Excadrill in the back? Well, Weezing, it's not going to be Tapu Fini because he would have saved his shield for Tapu Fini because he could throw Surf against my Excadrill. And he has Clefable. So I just need to throw 2 drill runs to take out the Clefable, and I'm going to farm up a little bit of extra energy because Clefable's fast moves are resisted, unlike Giratina's fast move, which is neutral. So I have a little bit of energy stored, and I can reach a 3rd drill run versus the Giratina to take it out. And we take that win. GG's to my opponent. If you're struggling to find Pokemon for this cup, I highly recommend Excadrill. It's easy to build, you don't need XLs for it, and it doesn't have any Legacy or Community Day moves. That means you can make it easily and you can make it anytime you want. And I highly recommend it. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope you found it informative. If you do try out this team, do let me know. I love seeing when someone uses my team and it actually works for them. I know sometimes I use weird teams, but I think this one's a decent one. And if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, maybe leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!